Russian airstrikes have hit cities across Ukraine, including the capital Kiev, in the first large-scale attack in nearly 2 months. Several people were killed after residential areas were targeted in the early hours of Friday morning. In the central city of Uman, there were a number of fatalities and many wounded after a residential building was struck, leaving firefighters and rescue workers combing through the rubble for survivors and to retrieve the dead. Ukraine's interior minister told Reuters that over half of the flats in the building were completely destroyed. This man's apartment was one of those hit. He describes being woken at 4:30 a.m. by an explosion which trapped him until rescuers were able to free him.
My flat is on the 7th floor, on the other side of that block. We felt the impact. We heard the explosion. I went to the door. I unlocked it, but I couldn't open it because it was blocked. My neighbors are gone. No one is left. There is no one alive in the whole block. Only the kitchens were left standing, from the 1st till the 5th floor.
Further east in Dnipro, a woman and her child were killed at home, while one child is reported to have been hospitalized in a town outside of Kiev after missile debris hit an apartment block. Explosions were also reported in Mykolaiv, Poltava, and Kremenchuk. The Ukrainian military said it has shot down all but 2 of the cruise missiles fired by Russia. In Kiev, officials reported that air defense units had destroyed 11 missiles and 2 drones. Writing on Telegram, President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the attacks, which come as Kiev prepares to launch its long-awaited spring counteroffensive. Using hundreds of tanks and armoured vehicles sent by the West, Ukraine plans to try and retake Russian-occupied territory in the east. While it is not clear what Russia was targeting in the overnight attacks, it has regularly struck civilian infrastructure. Although such attacks have tapered off since winter ended, with Ukraine's Western allies suggesting Russia had used up much of its long-range missile arsenal. Moscow denies targeting civilians, but such airstrikes and shelling have killed thousands of people and devastated Ukrainian cities.
Top stories of the hour. Welcome to the program. At least 7 people have been killed, including 1 child, after a rocket fired by Ukrainian forces hit a bus in the city of Donetsk. That's according to the head of the Donetsk Republic. Another 10 people were wounded in the incident. A number of cars were also damaged and windows of nearby buildings blown out. A park, several apartment buildings, and a hospital were also said to have been hit. Health authorities claim the only functioning MRI machine in the region was left damaged.
I'm standing right next to a passenger bus where, according to authorities, at least 7 passengers of this bus have been killed as a result of multiple launch rocket system fire by Ukrainian nationalists. We're not going to go any closer to this bus because I went there earlier and I counted at least 7 charred bodies of civilians. Now, this is the center of the city of Donetsk, a very busy street on a Friday afternoon. And right next to us is the local hospital, a local trauma center where those people who were injured arrive by ambulances and they're being treated. Like, all in all, Ukrainian nationalists fired against the city of Donetsk, against civilian areas several times this Friday, and as a result, right now we can confirm that 7 people have been killed and scores have been wounded. Once again, we are right in the center of the city where there are absolutely no military positions, and usually the center of the city doesn't come under fire, unlike the outskirts of the city of Donetsk that are constantly under bombardment by Ukrainian military. As you can see right now, investigators are working on the scene. The bus driver of this vehicle, he survived, but most of his passengers, 7 people, have been killed as the result of this Ukrainian attack. Also, besides the local trauma center, besides this bus, another rocket landed on a local stadium right in the middle of the field. And generally, there are several areas here in the center of Donetsk that came under shelling by Ukrainian military.
Just days before the deadly attack, a senior advisor to Ukraine's president raised more than a few eyebrows when he insisted there are no legal grounds to prevent Kiev's forces from destroying the regions Russia now claims as its own.
Legally, we have the right to destroy everything that is on the Crimean Peninsula in Donetsk, Lugansk, and of course Kherson and Zaporizhia. From a legal standpoint, there should be no complaints against Ukraine.